What, just because we're tanking, we're too good to do a pizza party now? Hello? 3 in a row. I don't know, I'm celebrating, bro. I got the pizza right here, you know what I mean? I've already eaten half of it, but yeah, we're right here. Pizza party time. Let's go! The Toronto Raptors beat the Milwaukee Bucks 128-100, improving to 4-4 on the season. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Raptor Rundown. I'm your host, Yousuf, and the Toronto Raptors are now on a 3-game winning streak. It takes me back to the times of when we were, waiting all season long for the goddamn pizza party for 3 wins in a row, and now it's already come 8 games into the season. How the times have changed. And the outlook of the entire season and the entire team has done a complete 180 over the span of 1 week because apparently team practices are important. For those of you who don't understand that reference, it's because Darko Rajakovic put out a quote saying that they didn't have a single team practice in 10 days while the Blue Jays were playing. I hope that was absolute satire, because if that was true, then we are going to have to make some serious decisions by who is leading this team, because goddamn. But all that aside, incredible win for the Toronto Raptors once again. We absolutely dominated the entire way through, and we did not let up one bit. The start of this game was insane. The shot was falling early for both teams. I think we started off 3 for 3. They started off 4 for 4. Literally not a single person was missing a shot. Right off the bat, you could tell instantly that Jakob looked so much more healthy, and you could see the impact of that health instantly. He was getting some incredibly big offensive rebounds, something that we were really missing. A big issue during some of our losses this season was just purely for the fact that the few times that we would get a stop, we weren't able to close out those stops with a rebound, and they'd get an easy offensive rebound, put back layup, or a kick out for a wide open 3. This time, Jakob got the rebound, closed out the possession. He got 9 total rebounds today, all done on a 20-minutes restriction. I've seen this in all of our losses. Jakob isn't some elite rim protector. In fact, he's average at best for his position. But at the end of the day, you need a big man. You need a 7-footer. And the fact that our biggest guy was a Colin Murray Bowles at 6'8" or a Scottie Barnes at 6'9", you know what I mean? That would never run, and that could not run in the long run. It's the reason we ended up trading for Jakob Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri, rest in peace. They were so tired of just being out-rebounded and just due to a lack of size in the paint. It's the reason we lost that series to Philly in 2022. It's the reason we ended up trading for Jakob assuming that he would change everything. And overall, I believe it's the reason that we ended up extending Jakob so that we wouldn't have to face that problem again. But yeah, overall, the defense was a lot more focused on guarding the paint. We would much rather let them shoot the 3 than go into the paint with free will like they did in the first game. Every single time they would drive, every single one of the Raptors would condense. There was times where, 3 guys would go into the paint because Giannis Antetokounmpo was coming towards the rim. It was much better defensively. There weren't that many layup attempts where they just went free at the rim. Speaking of Giannis, he was by far the best player for the Milwaukee Bucks. I felt bad for him, honestly. At times, he really did not have some help out there. It was a little bit of a struggle guarding him. Mamu, Colin Murray Bowles, honestly, they really struggled defending him, but to be completely honest, who wouldn't struggle defending Giannis Antetokounmpo? But overall, the storyline for the Bucks is they were just completely lost without Giannis. I mean, their bench of Taurean Prince, Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, and they'd have maybe Gary Trent Jr. or Ryan Rollins out there at the same time. It's just not enough talent out there. In fact, Kyle Kuzma, who usually is the one selling, he actually didn't have a bad game today. He dropped 18 points today. That's honestly a career or season high at least. But yeah, when Giannis was off the floor, that was just our opportunity to take over on the offensive end. We shot the ball incredibly well today. We shot 45% from 3 today compared to the Milwaukee Bucks 29, so that was a complete shift from the last game. And for the first time in what feels like so long, this is a stretch of games where we've where we've won the rebounding battle. We were great on the glass. We out-rebounded them in both offensive and defensive rebounds, and it clearly showed. This was overall the best Immanuel Quickley game as well. He had an incredible start. Overall, the stat line doesn't really pop out to you. He went 5 for 11. He only dropped 15 points. But overall, to me, it was just the decision-making that was so much better today. There's one player in particular where usually in the past he would go and take a transition 3. I think Scottie Barnes went into the paint and kicked it out for Immanuel Quickley. But instead this time he made the extra pass to a wide open Gradey Dick in the corner. It's small things like that that really, move me. And later on in the game, I think because he had the idea that we started shooting well, he took a quite a few questionable shots. But overall, I love that game from Immanuel Quickley. And if he could provide that to us on a daily night, then I think he's going to be an incredible addition to this roster. Like, at the end of the day, you can't expect him to be like this next level defender. He was still pretty bad defensively today, but we have some incredible defenders on this team. We drafted a Colin Murray-Boyles for this reason, to sort of fill that gap. So if Immanuel Quickley can provide us some incredible minutes on the offensive end, he will be an incredible starting point guard for the Toronto Raptors team. Scottie Barnes stuffed the stat sheet once again, and I feel like it's a different thing every single night. Today we're talking about his steals, where he got 4 steals. He also got 2 blocks, and overall dropped 23 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds. He's just such a Swiss Army knife. He does literally every single thing on the floor, and once again, the decision making was so incredible. In the past, he would take these contested threes, but I have yet to see him, honestly, overall. Maybe I've seen him take 1 or 2 bad threes, but in this game, he did not take a single bad three all game long. He shot 3 for 5 tonight. Overall in the season, he's shooting, like 48%, which is unheard of for Scottie Barnes. And he just does everything right and makes such smart decisions. His basketball IQ is off the rails. Scottie Barnes is top 5 in the entire league in deflections, and he really showed that ability tonight, and anticipating all these passes. I spoke about it a little bit in the Grizzlies video, but he's so smart at knowing when to cut off and when to send that double team to try and break off some of these passes. And he's just not afraid of anyone, man. I love the huge, the and one in the fourth quarter where he got it, and then he did a little callback to the Giannis Antetokounmpo flex. I love that stuff. Another great game from Gradey Dick tonight. He was really smart with his drives tonight. I feel like he's finally recognizing the gravity that he has as a three-point shooter. So he's waiting for some of these guys to do some harsh closeouts where he just blows by them and gets either a foul at the rim or an and one or a layup. I feel like he's finally maturing into his role, coming off the bench. He's finally deciding what to do. And overall, defensively, again, not one of the best defenders, but he shows an incredible amount of hustle and he shows an incredible amount of effort on that end, which is all you can really ask for from Gradey Dick. Sandro Mamukilishvili. Again, I've never been so happy to be wrong about certain moves. I was upset about this move because I felt like we needed a lot. Still, we needed some more size, and we ended up going for one of the smallest centers available. But overall, he's been incredible for us. I think having a stretch big is just so useful when it comes to giving these other teams some new looks. And overall, just like the lack of shooting that this team has, we need a guy that can shoot the ball at a consistent level. Tonight, he shot 3 for 5 from 3, which was incredible for a center. 6 for 12 overnight, 15 points, and 7 rebounds from Sandro Mamukilishvili. Once again, I feel like it's a different person every night. He shows up like this, and we're going to be a really tough team to beat, man, I'm telling you. And last person I'm going to highlight on the bench, Jamal Shead, man. He does all the little things like so well. It's all the plays that don't show up in the stat sheet. Like, there was one play where we're sort of leaking oil a little bit. We're struggling to find some sort of offense. I think someone shot a 3 and missed. And Jamal Shead goes and grabs the offensive rebound off of Miles Turner. Jamal Shead is barely 6 foot, and he's getting it over the 6'11", 7 foot Miles Turner. He's an incredible player, an elite passer. Some of the finds that he was making today was insane. And he started the season shooting the ball well, which is just an added plus because I honestly did not expect Jamal Shead to do that. RJ Barrett was another scoring option. I mean, he's just been so consistent and so reliable for us this season. He hit some incredibly huge threes early and late when the Milwaukee Bucks were actually trying to come back. I believe in the third quarter, we really struggled to find some offense, but it was our defense that was just holding on to that 20-point lead. But yeah, 23 points from RJ Barrett, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and then 1 steal and 2 blocks. Like, what? I've been so happy to see the leap from RJ Barrett from being one of the worst defenders in the team, and to be quite frank, at times in the league, to now being honestly a very average and solid defender. Not anymore where I'm seeing a guy being guarded by RJ Barrett. I'm holding my breath because I'm about to see him blow by RJ Barrett. He's been sticking with his defenders, and he got some incredible timings on these shot blocks tonight. Brandon Ingram's stat line was underwhelming tonight, but to be completely honest, this is what I love about this Toronto Raptors team. On any given night, it could be one of the 3 players: Brandon Ingram, Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett. Tonight, it was RJ Barrett and Scottie Barnes. Tomorrow night, it might be Brandon Ingram and RJ Barrett. The other night, it might be Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram. It is so incredible to have 3 genuine scoring options. And it's why we're the only team in the league with 3 20-plus point per game scores. And I understand 8 games into the season, it's way too early to make some claims, but I genuinely think having a top 7 offense, who would have thought that? This offense is clicking early, and it looks really good, and we look really hard to stop. Especially when guys like RJ Barrett, Scottie Barnes, Sandro, Colin Murray Boyles, all of these guys are shooting the three ball well. Who would have thought that? In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think our quote-unquote bad shooters are shooting well, and then our good shooters in Immanuel Quickley and Ochai Out are shooting bad to start the season. Ochai Out is one of the sad stories. This was the first game where he basically was out of the rotation other than 6 garbage time minutes. I said this before, man. It was the battle between Gradey Dick, Jacoby Walter, and Ochai Out. And if one of those guys don't step up or play their role, they will get lapped by the other players. And Ochai Out being in a contract year, he was the most expendable player to where if he does not play well enough, he will get benched or even possibly traded in the future. That $6 million contract can be added very easily to either Immanuel Quickley or someone else to get an upgrade to this roster. So when his three isn't falling and the team doesn't look exponentially better when he's out there, he is going to get benched by Darko Rajakovic, unfortunately. I think that covers everything. Overall, I mean, the incredible game from the Toronto Raptors. My biggest key takeaways were that we closed all these quarters, especially the first and the second. We closed them beautifully. We protected the paint, which was a big point of emphasis, especially after that first Milwaukee game. And the ball movement. Oh my god, the ball movement was so incredible in this game. The NBA account actually posted one of our plays that ended in a Sandro 3, where the ball literally touched every single person's hands. It was humming, it was moving around, and it ended up with, and Milwaukee was actually rotating pretty well, but it ended up with an incredible look from Sandro where he absolutely nailed it. But yeah, for the Bucks, I said into this game, like, we needed to make sure that we stopped some of their extras, and Gary Trent Jr., Ryan Rollins, and who was the other person that went off last time? I think it was Cole Anthony. All three of those guys, they did not have the best of games. In fact, overall, they really struggled to find a Gary Trent Jr. who started off 2 for 2 from 3, so it was a little bit questionable on their end. They struggled shooting the ball. Giannis, he wasn't 100% obviously, and it's the second night of back-to-back. It was a tough game for the Milwaukee Bucks. Felt like a little bit of a trap game, but nonetheless, I was really happy with the effort. I was very proud of the Toronto Raptors. We have to take these wins when we can. Next up, though, it's going to be a great test. NBA Cup game against the Atlanta Hawks. No Trae Young for Atlanta. That takes away one of their incredible scoring options, so I think we will definitely need to key in on Jalen Johnson and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been shooting the ball and he's been scoring really incredible while Trae Young has been out. Zachary Reese-Shea has also looked really good. He looked good against us in the first game. And overall, I just think they're going to look to try and get a lot more revenge in this game overall. In that Atlanta game, Onyeka Okongwu found a lot of success and Kristaps Porzingis found a lot of success. To be fair, Jakob Poeltl was playing with that broken back, basically. So I'm really excited to see what it looks like with Colin Murray Boyles here for the first time against Atlanta, and Jakob Poeltl being nearly fully healthy. So I'm really excited to see how that looks. I think early on we really need to limit the three. This is a team that can really shoot the ball, so we cannot let them going and we cannot let them start firing away from three. Continue what you're doing defensively. I think the rotations have been so incredible. The effort level on the defensive end, it's been a second and third effort. Sometimes early on we weren't even seeing a first effort from these players, so it was really good. And my last point, you have to find who is on that night. Like I said earlier, it could be Brandon Ingram, it could be RJ Barrett, it could be Scottie Barnes, it could be Immanuel Quickley who's shooting the ball really well. But you need to find out who's shooting the ball well, and you need to find them in your offense. You need to initiate all your offense through them. And the good thing is about this big three, when Brandon Ingram is playing really well, RJ Barrett limits his shots to 11, and he finds other ways to impact the game through his passing or his rebounding or his spacing with the three-point shot in the corner. Scottie Barnes is going to be impactful with his passing, with his screen setting, with his rolling. He's going to be incredible no matter what. So he's a Swiss Army knife, like I said. So he's always going to be helpful to this offense. But yeah, I think it's important you find out who is on one that night and you make sure to get them the ball. But yeah, I think that covers everything. I mean, the Toronto Raptors have started off with a very disappointing season, and now everyone's super excited. We're finally back at 500. And also early on, people are forgetting we played some really tough teams, and now we're starting to play some quite poor teams, to be completely honest. Like over the next 10 games, we're playing Brooklyn, Indiana, Charlotte, Washington, all very winnable games. And if we want to make the playoffs, these are games that we need to make sure we close out. People say I'm not impressed with the Toronto Raptors because they're supposed to win these games. Sometimes it's harder to win these games that you're supposed to, especially a team coming off a tanking season, 2 tanking seasons actually. So I'm really proud of the effort that we put out. We went out there not expecting anything easy, and we've absolutely dominated in every single win. It's been a very comfortable win, and to be honest, the quite opposite way, in every single loss, it's been a quite dominant loss. So yeah, I want to see that dominance, but if it is a close game, I want to see us close out. We've done really well closing out quarters, so I do want to see that continue. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know your predictions for the Toronto Raptors coming up. Let me know who you think is going to win in the next game against the Atlanta Hawks. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next Raptors Rundown.